What's good? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back grinding. Don't forget to check the links in the description. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We've been working on all platforms, including YouTube, and happy to have you right here talking some real trill boxing talk. And not only boxing, we've been doing more sports, more food for thought, and pretty much we get into more politics and stuff of that somewhere down the line. But I want to give everybody an update that I have something like cooking, like with a lot of other channels, man. I got something cooking. It's going to be a weekly or bi-weekly show. More than likely, it's going to be weekly with interchangeable people, depending if I can get all 5 to 7 of the brothers on the same page. So, we're going to have something cooking. It's going to be a nice little live show. We talk about what's going on in boxing right now and give y'all some different perspective from, myself. And different from bringing back Money Brown TV back on. He going to be on. And a few other channels that may be new to you. So, be on the lookout for that. But talking about now, Eddie Hearn is saying that, they want to know where, what, who, how, that Deontay Wilder got these funds. And, now he mad because this deal, brought to my attention, kind of would cut him out of this fight, really, Anthony Joshua fucked around and put his foot in his mouth and said he wanted $50 million, and they proposed it to him. And now with some back and forth. Matter of fact, I'm gonna link an article into the description. Shelly Finkel rebutted to Eddie Hearn, saying that we talked to Joshua, and he wants to know why. He wants to know how Deontay Wilder came up with all this money. He wanted a source and all this and all that. And Shelly Finkel, representing. Representing Deontay Wilder with Al Heyman and his co-manager Jay Diaz. They rebutted in this article. Shelly Finkel gonna tell you the letter that he sent, or the email that he sent to Eddie Hearn. He said just have Anthony Joshua accept the terms, and then we could sit down, because there ain't no point of us sitting down, and he ain't interested and we wasting our time. And the reason he say this, and this is why a lot of people won't tell you the 100% truth, because maybe they don't know it. Because last time Wilder's team sat down with Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua's, the whole team sat down with the dad Barry Hearns. All Eddie and Barry Hearns and everybody on Anthony Joshua's side was talking about was fighting Dylan White. They wouldn't even let them bring up Anthony Joshua as a topic. So, are you wasting my time once? Then I'm gonna need you to verbally accept the $50 million deal and the 50% revenue we sent through you the email. And then once you accept that, you verbally accept that, which is not a legal binding thing. You know what I'm saying? Once you accept that verbally, then we can sit down this week and we'll show you where we get the money from. And I don't see any harm there. You just verbally agreeing. And if you don't like what you hear, or you don't like where the money's coming from, or you don't believe the money or the source where it's coming from, then you just say, fuck it, I don't like the deal, I don't like where the money coming from, it seems unstable. But my thing is, even if he verbally accepts and then he agrees and sees where the money coming from, if he don't get his $50 million and 50% of the revenue, you going to get it one way or the other. Deontay Wilder going to be fighting till he 80. So, what's the risk here? It's no risk. It's no risk other than it's no rematch clause. And if you feel Joshua going to win, then you don't need a rematch clause. And I think it's a positive thing for Anthony Joshua to be forced over here and make big money in the United States, because if he beats Deontay Wilder in the United States, his money is going to go up, and they market this fight the right way. His bread is going to go through the roof. You're going to have UK venues, the UK fans having to up their money just to compete from keeping him moving to the United States. And once he moves to the United States, he started getting that camera in his face. He starts seeing Cali. He starts seeing Vegas. He starts seeing New York, Chicago, Houston, going out to the Gunshine State. And he started to travel. He going to be like when the Klitschko brothers came over to the United States and they found Coca-Cola. They never had it before, and they was inhaling that shit. In the Klitschko documentary before the David Haye fight they released from Vladimir Klitschko and David Haye. So he going to get addicted to this stuff over here. And what's so bad about the situation is, if Al Heyman could show Anthony Joshua that type of money, and he could show him that his investors' pockets deep and his pockets deep, and that deal about to come up, from Matchroom, and Al Heyman could show Anthony Joshua that type of money, family, guess what? Anthony Joshua gonna consider bringing Al Heyman on too. He gonna be like, man, Eddie Eddie been saying we been getting 20 million, but it really been like 10 or 12 million, probably not even that. He been buying the tickets over in the arena trying to make me look good, you know, allegedly. And this dude opened a bank and showed me 50 million plus 50% of the revenue, and they sold this fight out. I defeat Deontay Wilder. I'm rolling with this guy. And that's what Eddie Hearn fears. What they've done is trying to cut Eddie Hearn out the deal. And if they cut Eddie Hearn out the deal and they show Anthony Joshua that type of money and he beats Wilder, who you think he gonna fucking roll with? It's the same shit with Conor McGregor. The reason Conor McGregor ain't coming back to the UFC or don't have no real urgency coming back to UFC because Dana White can't show him that type of money through the UFC. So he around here like a dope fiend looking for that $50 to $100 million hit he trying to get. And once Joshua takes 50 or 80 or almost $100 million, this fight done well and they market it well, that motherfucker don't want to go back to make it $18, $15 million in the UK. He gonna get addicted. And that's what Eddie Hearn fears. I think Eddie Hearn fears more than Anthony Joshua losing, and he lose a lot of his leverage over HBO with bringing Anthony Joshua over there. He might lose his fighter because his fighter at the end of the deal and he hasn't read up yet. And Anthony Joshua's been complaining about not making enough money. So at the end of the day, for Eddie, it's more about saving face. And Al Heyman and Lou DiBella ain't got shit to do with it for real. Al Heyman is the one that put this deal in the works. You know, you can say Jay Diaz, Shelly Finkel. At the end of the day, Al Heyman investors came up with this money. Just as they dig deep to kept Keith happy when nobody was fighting Keith, just as they overpaying Earl Spence because nobody fighting Earl Spence to fight, they can show you the money, and they're going to have a dog-ass plan for them to even profit off of it. So everybody going to leave this fight happy. And it's going to be a big fight in Vegas, and I plan on being there. You feel me? So Eddie Hearn, as much as he fears Anthony Joshua getting defeated by Deontay Wilder, he may fear Anthony Joshua beating Deontay Wilder as well and being happy and satisfied with Al Heyman, what the money he can show him and potentially he can produce and put in his pocket, and he can be a billionaire in that amount of time. So he said, if I can fuck up Wilder and Al can get me paid, like I'm going to fuck with Al Heyman. And okay, if I fight in the United States, then the UK price is going to run up. Then Africa going to want me. Then Japan going to want me to come out there. Then, then Jerry going to want me to come to Cowboy Stadium. Then, they going to want me at the Alamo Dome. They going to want me at the Staples. They going to want me back in Vegas. I could do the Floyd. And then if I go back to the UK, I'm going to run a checkup on their ass. So Anthony Joshua is in a great position. Eddie Hearn is the one in the worst position in this deal. And I don't see no problem with him accepting the agreement. It's not illegal bonding. And then he can come back. And if he don't like where the money coming from, he don't like the deal on the inside, then he can just like, fuck it. At the end of the day, Eddie Hearn fear that he gonna lose his fighter, bro, fucking with Al Heyman and the money he just popped up and showed. So y'all know what it is. CBC and more. We gone.